this guy working.
Don't talk about it.
I want their leader brought here. I want him brought to me. I want the revolution crushed.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Mamluks. My name is Sim. Along with me is my soldier co-host, who always shows up on time, Sheikh Maher.
Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, y'all? Happy Wednesday.
Actually, he's
Really?
just as worse as everyone else.
It's just today. Happens to be today.
His nickname is Late Latif.
Funny thing is, my dad's name was Latif. He's never late, bro. I remember growing up with little kids. He'd take us to Dawah to be like exactly on time. We'd be like for an hour getting bored. Me and my siblings just getting bored, and then finally like an hour later when we're all tired, the people start actually coming in.
Yeah, my dad's the same way.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
very punctual on time. They told us the time. That's when we have to be here. It doesn't matter. That's what he used to tell us. We all used to complain. Doesn't matter. They give us a time.
My dad started his wedding on time when he married my mom, and at the end of the wedding, like there were still guests coming in to the wedding, and they were wrapped up, but they were like leaving. He's like,
Wow.
he's so punctual. And in India, that's like
Yeah. Oh,
like a crime. Like he's a man of principles, you know. And
That's a rare breed in India, especially living in India.
Yeah.
That's a rare breed, bro.
People were upset.
I know people in India who've been married late to their own wedding. They wait for people to get in 3 hours after the time. So if say like 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, people start coming in. It's supposed to finish at 12. They finish like at 2. It's crazy.
Yeah. Folks, help us out on patreon.com/themandrumlukes. Every little bit of your contributions go directly into the podcast. 100% goes for all kinds of different expenses in the upkeep of this podcast. We deeply appreciate you. And if you can't support us, at least throw a comment in the comment section below and make sure you like the show if you haven't done so already. Sheikh, how goes it?
Pretty good. Looking for multiple monetary streams to help fund this podcast. Yeah. Anybody know anybody who's hiring second remote position, let me know, bro. So we can fund this podcast so it keeps going.
Remote jobs always give you that flexibility.
Yeah, yeah. No, alhamdulillah, everything's good, bro. I'm kind of excited. We got a little special guest today.
Yeah.
A returner, but can't wait. He's not too far away, and I think I hear him. He's probably
Yeah.
here. But I think there's a lot to talk about, even though there's a lot of direction about. We're going to obviously talk a lot about Palestine.
Sheikh, while we're waiting, can you maybe perhaps interpret a dream that I had?
I don't
recently?
interpret dreams, bro.
No, just tell me what like I think there was like
But you know what the problem is nowadays?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, look at what IbnSirin.com, MuslimDreamInterpreter.com. They go to that
Yeah.
and they start interpreting dreams. That's not always the best way. That's not obviously the best way.
That's
it's not. Because a dream is specific for each person.
Right. Well, this person, like one of our friends who lives in Oman, you know him, and he had someone interpret a dream for me that I thought when I looked at my Islamic dream, Ibn Sirin's interpretations on dreams and stuff. You look at that shows one different thing, and he said completely different. But what he said was hit on the mark. He doesn't know me. Now, I don't know what to make of that, because in my mind I was like, oh, dreams have like, because I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm willing to talk to the sheikh. Like, I really need this figured out. He's like, don't worry about it. He'll know how to figure it out. And I was kind of skeptical. I'm like, you know how, like, I don't know the guy. You know, I sometimes people have someone in their village who thinks they know things, and I wasn't really sure about anything.
Yeah.
You know, so he ends up, he nails it on the dot. And but this particular dream that I wanted to talk about, bro, it's scary.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you want to send it throughout all the waves. It'll be on there forever.
Well, I just think it was the devil.
What's a possibility?
I just think it was the devil, because I just saw the absence of good in this person, this being. Like, he was so evil. Like, I never felt evil like that in my life.
Wow. All in your dream.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god,
It was like a post-Fajr dream or before Fajr dream?
it was post Fajr, and I was like,
It's probably from
what?
Shaitan.
No, obviously, like I knew it, like it was Shaitan, but like I didn't understand. All right, you know what you think is evil, but you don't really feel it because I mean, people have always been on the receiving end of evil, right? Like all kinds of evil acts and stuff like that. People like see evil, but to feel like the absence of good in something,
That's kind of crazy.
that
Everyone has some type of good in them that you can see.
right?
Yeah.
And it was almost like an alternate universe that, like the setting and everything. It just felt like it wasn't something that I could reference back to from
That's crazy.
my previous
I'm
memories.
liking this.
You know?
Keep going, brother.
Because those are the kind of dreams that make me kind of wonder whether it's actually, you know, something to think about. Because if there's nothing that in your previous experience that you're retrieving, your mind is putting together things from to create some kind of expression through a dream, then I'm like, wait, I've never seen this in my life.
It's too alien, yeah.
You know?
Because you have nothing to go back to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why even the post-Fajr dreams are really interesting. It's like if you see like repetitively, and scholars have talked about this extensively. I've seen this in my experience of people who just come to me and have the question why.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like I think I told you guys this before. I knew a relative of mine. This is exactly what she told me.
Yeah.
She said, I prayed Isha, went to sleep, woke up for tahajjud, prayed my tahajjud, read Quran, stayed up till Fajr, prayed Fajr, did my dhikr until the sun came up. I prayed the 2 rakat, 4 rakat, 6 rakat, 8 rakat of Ishraq. And after that, I went to sleep just to take a nap because I was so tired. She said, I went to sleep and there was this lady who had this crazy hair. She was pulling, I was lying down on the bed that I was on. She's like, the bed that I'm sleeping on. And she was pulling my hair and her nails are like, she looks really evil and she's yanking and I'm screaming. Nobody's helping me. And I'm asking Allah for help. I'm doing all this. Nothing happened to me. The dream ended. And so she says to me, she's crying on the phone. She's reiterating this dream to me. And she said, Amr, now you tell me, after doing all this ibadah, after doing all this, and after Fajr, why would Allah let that happen to me? That's what she says to me. I said, see, that's the exact reason why. You agitated Shaitan so much with you that he just wanted this question to emanate from you after all that ibadah. And you have to fight that because that's what Shaitan does. Like this is a reality. People who do lots of devotion, especially if it can be haphazard and they want to do more, the Qareen senses that, his tribe, the Shayateen, sense that, and they're going to do everything to stop you from doing that because they want to have a hold on you, right?
Yeah.
And they can't have that inner voice, that chatter. A lot of times people don't realize this, but that chatter, that self-chatter that we have and what we call as negative thoughts, right?
Yeah.
This is actually something to be very careful of. What people try to say, oh, it's just negative thoughts that are holding you back. Sometimes that's a very agnostic, atheistic way of looking at things because Assalamu alaikum, we have a great guest with us. Thank you. Don't worry, we're gonna introduce you soon. Let us finish this thought.
Go ahead.
So what it actually is self chatter actually has a lot to do with the qareen. The qareen whispers to you and damages you, and gives you sometimes even looped psychological issues. Feeds on your fears and your insecurities and inadequate self-understood inadequacies. And we refer to it contemporarily as self-chatter, but that's not actually what it is. It is, you can call it that, self-chatter, but a lot of that has to do with the qareen. The qareen's job is to constantly make you doubt yourself and make you go away from Allah and take your trust away from Allah, right? When people have lots of bad experiences, like that person, that relative of mine who called me, she did all those devotions. And on top of all that, she's right away. She's like, why would Allah let that happen to me, right? And doesn't humanly understand. Doesn't mean she's a bad person for doing that. But that's how difficult and how hard Shaitan works on and the qareen works. And when I say qareen, it's interchangeable with your own personal Shaitan, right? So that's basically what we have to be very careful of. And when we have that self-chatter, that's what we understand from waswas. Right? That waswas, that whispering is always happening. We say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, read Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Falaq, Surah Al-Nas, because that's actually happening. It's not just, oh, it's my psychiatric issue, it's my psyche. No, it's your psyche because you have one, but the qarin is working, using that to grind you down and to make you go in a downward spiral. You know what I'm saying? And those dreams post-Fajr have a lot to do with that. The reason I mention that is the post-Fajr dreams that happen with nightmares, that's actually shaitan working on you.
Yeah.
Because he sees that, okay, this person's working on something. He's doing something good.
Yeah.
He's doing something that's going to disable me and my tribe that's all working on him.
Yeah.
And we can't let that happen. It's like a mafia, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he had, in that dream, he had like companions and stuff. And I was so like nervous around him that I was like trying to give him like, oh, you should be worrying about this one other guy who was one of his other devils. And because I was so nervous around him because it's
no good inside of him.
Yeah.
Absence of good, yeah.
And I'm like, and I don't want him to be let on that like I'm worried about him. So I'm just kind of saying, hey, check out that other guy over here, Mario over there.
But look how crazy dreams are. It's still affecting you though.
Yeah.
Sometimes dreams affect you for like 3 or 4 days, bro. You got like this weird like inner, not like depression, but like this like hitch in your step, kind of like.
Well, you're kind of on guard, right? You just want like, what is this? Is this a premonition? Yeah. Is this something that I'm supposed to worry about? Yeah. Is this someone in my life?
Yeah.
That entered my life that I have to.
That a-hole thinks he has going to have a lasting effect on you, but he's not. Yeah. Because my brother's a person of Tawheed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He thinks he's going to have a lasting effect on you. That's what his job is, but he's not going to, inshallah. Anyways.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Shaq's here, guys. This is our guest today.
I'm a fill-in for Merce. Why'd you say that?
Mark's going to be here, too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a party today, brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was religious garb day, bro.
No. That's just how I dress. I'm supposed to be the chef of the,
that's
of the
right,
show.
that's right. I
so I have to do that.
It's just a costume.
Yeah, what's going on with you, brother? It's been a long time, man. Always looking good every time I see you, man. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Yeah, man. Allah give us at least 1/4 of your body and we'll be happy, bro.
No.
That's good, man. How's it going? How's it working out? How's everything coming along?
Alhamdulillah, bro. It's good. It's good.
Nice.
Working out has slowed down a little bit. Obviously, just
busy
time and getting old, I guess.
Yeah.
But, it's a different world. It's completely different for me. 30 years of working out, and all of a sudden I'm not working out that much. So
I was going to ask you what the genre life is. I guess it's no longer genre.
Yeah, I'm still training the guys. We're still doing a lot of stuff. We're trying to do more activities.
But you're still active, though. Slightly.
Yeah, once or twice a week.
Yeah, that's good. Guys, I'm not joking. I talked to a dude. I'm not lying. He hasn't. He said he used to go on walks, but I saw him. He was pretty big compared to last time I saw him. And he said he didn't do any physical activity for like 4 years, bro.
Whoa. Yeah.
No basketball. He's played basketball. No walking. No running. No jump roping. Just chilling. He works from home, bro. MashaAllah, dude.
Yeah.
Got like 3 kids. He's chilling.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, what about like going for walks? I was like, man, it's like he openly admitted that when you don't work out for a long time or don't even get, the mindset just goes away from you. You don't even care about it anymore.
I that's true. One thing, you just kind of, your body gets used to you not working out, and you just get lazy. You go. That's a whole mental thing. I think it's a mindset. You're right, but physically they're deteriorating, and what happens after a while is they get so used to that feeling that they have no idea what it feels like to be healthy. And that's that's the vast majority of the Muslim community is in that bucket right there.
And Americans generally.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Physical activity has gone up though in the past 10 years.
It's gone up a
it
lot.
Has.
Across the globe, it has gone up a lot. It's become
has.
Because it's I think it's all medical, right? I mean, the whole medical industry had us completely in a different in a kind of a different path all the way up until the 80s, 90s. It's all about medicine, all about pharma, and then as social media came out, and then people started talking about what benefits you have from working out and actually being healthy and being able to take control of your own your own health. It's become huge, a huge breakthrough, because science, even science backs up the fact that if working out, regularly exercising and watching what you eat. When I say watching what you eat, we're not talking about regular just healthy diet and stuff. We're talking about watching what you eat. There's a lot of stuff out there with a lot of garbage in it. That's a problem, right? It's the mass-produced food that we eat and all the chips and outside food. They have so much garbage.
40 ingredients for one cookie.
Chemicals. All carcinogenic chemicals in so many of these products. And not just the ones that you're ingesting through your food, stuff that you put on your skin, stuff that you use in your hair, all kinds of stuff that we're learning about now. And so just in general, it's a rude awakening, right? So people are now realizing that they have to do something. And science is saying that, you can actually prevent a lot of these illnesses, including cancer, if you work out and take care of yourself and eat right and stuff like that.
No, there was I think his name is Thomas DeLauer. I don't know if you know him. He was on a.
Oh yeah, he's a good YouTuber.
He's a good
He's got a
YouTuber,
lot of,
and he was talking about like this. If you take somebody who works out regularly, eats unhealthy, and smokes every day,
Yep,
like a
I
pack
saw
a day,
that.
yeah, he still is much more healthier than the person who tries to eat
Yep.
clean but doesn't smoke but
Yep.
doesn't work out.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I truly believe that.
yeah.
So even people who don't, eat well and don't diet properly, you're going to be in better shape than the person who eats well and diets properly but doesn't work out as long as you're working. The person who works out is always going to be, they say longevity, meaning you live longer, but what we know is they'll be healthy throughout
healthier,
their life.
better circulation.
Yeah.
And I think the main goal is like for some people, like, man, there's so much to do. It's like one of the goals is like what is the best way to wean off if I'm on a lot of medications, right? And I was just telling this to a brother the other day, bro. Just get your pedometer ready, just 10,000 steps. Don't go to sleep until you take 10,000 steps. That's it, bro.
Yeah, that's
Especially if you're majorly overweight, you
Yeah.
know. Just walk, bro. That's it. Don't lift weights. Don't do none of that. Just walk, dude. That's all you got to do.
I was very skeptical about. Hey, new lamp. I was very skeptical about.
It's huge, bro.
I was very skeptical about the 10,000 step thing. I used to be like, because I'm, in fitness. I'm like, what can I do? What can
You're
I
a
do?
gentleman, bro. You like to lift weights, bro.
I lift weights and I move around a lot. I
Yeah.
try to keep active, even when I'm not lifting. I'm doing stuff outside.
Working on boats.
That's a whole nother, whole nother topic of how to live just normally. I mean, it's not just about going to the gym and lifting weights. That's extremely important. And I've come to the realization if you could do that 2 times a week, you should be okay.
Mhm.
But then you have to have
Other things,
other
yes, sir.
activities. And one of the most, I think, basic activities that we miss out on is the connection with nature. And your environment around you and the connection with nature. Now, when I say connection with nature, people are probably thinking, this guy wants me to walk around barefoot outside. I do want you to walk around barefoot outside.
Good
That's
for
one
you.
of those things. But besides that, there's so much more to it. You know what I'm saying? It's that your conscious awareness of your what's going on around you, physically, socially, environmentally, financially, economically, the whole landscape of just being aware as a human being. You know how they say woke nowadays? I talk to people still now. I'm not even lying. I've come across quite a few adults in the past couple of months, non-Muslim, most of them non-Muslim, who don't even know what's going on there's a genocide going on. That's how unaware you are. So if you're unaware of that much of your surroundings, and I'm not saying be on social media all day and be overly stimulated either, but I'm saying just be aware and be connected to your environment, your nature, society around you, what's going on, and things
dude,
like
do you ever notice how many people, when you just kind of talk to them and you peel back their layers?
Mm-hmm.
At first I thought, a lot of people are just confused about things, that people just don't know how to make sense of various things that are happening in the world. But then I'm finding out as I get to know more people, just, I told you guys, I grew up as an introvert. I didn't have that big of a social circle. But now as I get to know more and more people, you just find out that, there's nothing underneath it. You look under the hood, right? You you think there's some things that need a tuning. You need to configure their way of thinking and understanding things. But then there's this huge influx of people who are just dead weight.
Yeah, kind of like me. No, one thing I realize is there's actually research that comes out that introverts are actually some of the most smartest people. Because I know a few introverts, right? And they did lots of reading when they're younger because they needed friends and they didn't want to go out and make, so they did lots of reading. And those are the people you end up realizing you grow up these people are smart. So I was an introvert when I was younger. There's a lot of people that are very well read that were introverts. You know what I'm saying? And you see that.
I was a huge introvert, but I'm not smart. I don't know.
I doubt that.
No, but look, at least
all storybooks though.
But look, even guys like
The pop-up books.
no, even after that, throughout high school, it'd just be fictional books.
Yeah.
I didn't really
Fiction's smart though. It's good though. It brings creativity to you.
I read a lot, but that was.
So we got a new man in the house now. Oh, this is a full house, boys. This is a party. By the way, we're talking about walking. He's the one who got me into walking. He used to pick me up and we used to go walking 10,000, 15,000 steps,
Nice.
bro.
Yeah, that's hard to hit, man.
It
That's
is.
what I was saying. That's one of the things that I was not really. I didn't think it would make a big difference, but I tried it myself a couple of times. Let me see do I hit 10,000? And I realized, even with my activity level, even with lifting weights, I was only hitting 4,000 or 5,000 steps a day. And I said, okay, let me see what happens if I move this up to 7,500 to 8,000, 10,000. man, you hit 10,000, it's a whole other world.
If you do 10,000 in one stretch, if you're not used to it, you realize when you're done, your stomach's tighten.
Well, when I started
calves,
that, it took about, I think, to get 10, it's about 2.5 hours of walking.
Yeah.
That's
and
a
a
lot.
normal
I did that a
pace,
few
right?
times, yeah.
But when the beginning, when you start doing it, like your leg, your calves start hurting.
I know.
But then, actually, to be honest, it's a lot like running. Once you're moving, you get in that grind. But then when you stop, the next day, like you feel like your calves are a little swollen.
But that's why we're telling people, look, a lot of times people, they think they have to start running to lose weight, bro. Like you start walking, take 10,000 steps, it's easier on your joints, especially if you're overweight or obese.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Your laptop is throwing it out of focus.
Oh, your laptop's throwing out of focus, you said.
Yeah, well, we'll have to leave it that way. It's okay.
So, no, a lot of times people that are obese, they think they have to start running to work out. No, you can walk to work out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So what I did was I got this under the table treadmill.
I heard about that.
That's
Dude, it's great.
Yeah, the little pad thing.
Yeah, because you stand there. Because the thing that I've noticed too is that if you want to do something, like I noticed that we try to just postpone everything and do everything at the end of the day. And if you can split it up through the day, it's much better.
It is.
Especially for energy levels. Right? Like, because after lunch or something, you're feeling kind of groggy.
Just slouch.
A quick 15-minute walk, and
Yep.
you're back on the grind, bro. Like, oh, cool. I got to.
And it's hard to do
good for your brain.
10,000 in one shot.
Yeah.
It is really hard. You got to do, I couldn't do it. I was doing I would just look at where I'm at during the day. It's, oh man, I'm really behind. And if I just had time, I just walk it from the phone, just started walking around. But the key here is, I'm going to tell you what the key is here is no matter what we do, it has to be done with purpose. So there are people who walk every single day, aunties and uncles. I know that. I'm going to take a that literally means just strolling, real slow strolling. Yeah. and because there's no step count there, I mean, even though it's the same thing as you saying, hey, I just got to hit 10,000 steps, doesn't matter. But the fact that you have that little bit of intent, that purpose, it flips.
You walk differently too.
It flips
you walk
this whole
differently.
stretch.
You start swinging your arms. You start moving a little faster.
Go uphill.
Yeah, when me and my wife were doing this a couple of months ago, we were literally, hey man, we're like only at 3,000. Let's go outside, walk around the block 4 times.
There you go.
We're walking around the block 4 or 5 times, and we're like, wait, it's only 1,000 steps. Oh my god, we're doing it. So that right there is that whole mental, connection is what it is. It's nothing else more than that.
Yeah. No, the cool thing is like when you go to conventions, if you're really into walking, like I remember it's a convention day that I was going to the bazaar. I walked in the morning and I went to Isna. At nighttime, I had like 23,000 steps.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy because you're just constantly walking, right? And then you realize how much you can do.
But those steps are a little different because that's like a slow walk.
They are. The cool thing is it's better than sitting in one place.
Honestly, 20,000 steps slow walking is still pretty good, right? I mean, if you do
it's better than sitting, for sure.
But I mean, but the idea is, I think the brisk idea is that you actually get in that fat burning mode.
Yeah.
I believe it, right? And then obviously you get a little bit of the cardiovascular, just a little bit, right? But I mean, so that's the kind of dilemma I have too, because I'm like, okay, the walking is great for like metabolism and getting your blood flowing, but it's not like, it doesn't get your heart like, and that's what I was kind of missing. So you'll jump on the Stairmaster sometimes, like that'll kind of like, or I guess in their case, if you're doing like those, those workouts, right, where you're doing intense workouts
with genre fitness.
Yeah, I mean, John, where like you'll get your heart pumping, right? But cause I think people forget the cardiovascular part too. You need to flush your, get your blood pumping hard.
More coming old school. I like the Converse.
Shaq, you usually have another hustle going on. Do you have anything else in the pipeline?
Not
okay. I just want to make sure that and give you your due. You know what I'm saying?
What are you working on? Let's get to that. Yeah, man. So what's up?
Are you guys paying attention to what's going on in the news and stuff?
Yeah, man.
So we got. Did you guys watch the Bill Burr thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
Bill Burr.
I'm glad. He puts people in his place.
Yeah, man. Let me pull that up.
I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna pull that up for you guys.
Yeah, it's
what is it?
The thing I like about him, he did that to Joe Rogan a few times too about wearing the mask and stuff, and he went viral. He basically is really good at just speaking his mind, even when he was with his own friends, his own comedy friends and stuff. He'll put them on blast. It's almost like unintentional, but he'll just be like, "Dude, what the heck are you talking about?" And he did something very similar with somebody who very much needed it, because some people are they got popularity and they got fame, but they're actually really stupid. And it tells you that, very stupid people can become very popular depending on what type of shock value they bring.
Very common.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this guy Bill Burr is he just speaks his mind, bro. So I think
I know who Bill Burr is.
Yeah. He just says it. His interviews are hilarious, obviously.
What is it in regards to?
Oh, we're gonna it's on the Kingdom group. Team Shaq.
I haven't seen Shaq in forever.
I haven't
Are
either.
you working?
Yeah.
That's why he had to. He's like, guys, I'm going to be working, but he's multitasking, bro. He's got two cell phones, a laptop.
I know. What are you got? You got like a deployment or something?
No, so there's some, so I tell people this too, like in IT, like I always think the best thing to get into, but when like shit hits the fan, it hits the fan.
Oh, you're in the.
Like, at the DBA, like most of our life is chill,
Yeah.
right? But I always say this, like other guys in IT, like coders, developers, cybersecurity, like all those guys, they have stress constantly, every day. The DBA doesn't. But that one time a year or every 6 months where it hits the fan, it's like 3 days nonstop. It's just full on stress. Because everything is, what happens is the database, this is boring, but database is like the core for anything.
Right.
So if there's something actually wrong, most of the time when there's problems, it's not really the database. But when it is the database, everything stops.
Yeah.
So people lose. I'll give you an example. Like one of the companies I'm working at, if the database is down for 1 minute, they lose $6 million of revenue.
Wow.
For 60 seconds.
60 seconds, $6 million worth of revenue.
Dang.
Yeah. It's a lot of money.
You did like program manager stuff, right? But you didn't. You didn't do like.
I did
DBA
data warehousing.
technical? Oh, you did.
I did DBA classes with him.
Got it.
I never worked as a DBA.
You guys were in the same class?
Same time?
No, I think a little bit. I did it after you.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I think we overlapped a little bit.
It's good to know
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
I
It's good
mean,
to
it
know
was
that
like
stuff.
2014, 15-ish.
Man.
No, the few sessions that he tutored me, and it was very
2012,
helpful.
2013.
Harvard.
Oh,
Are you
2014,
kidding?
2015, yeah.
All right, here we go.
What are we listening to? Oh, I thought.
Have you heard what's going on college campuses these days?
I don't watch the news.
You don't realize that college campuses erupted with the kids demonstrating for Hamas? They are in with the terrorists.
They were for the Palestinians.
Well, it's sort of the same cause. Why, are you?
I'm on the side of the kids.
Yeah, that's easy to say. You know, no one wants to see kids dead. This is a war.
That was very brave of you to say that.
This is a war. No, I'm the one who's.
Yeah. So he goes.
No,
we have to interrupt it, by the way, for
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
or else YouTube will kick us off. But Maher is talking about the
College kids.
no, he's Bill Maher is talking about
Palestinian?
the Palestinian kids. Bill Burr is saying I'm on the side of the college kids.
Yeah.
So
That's what you're saying.
Wow.
And then how he quit, but then you see how he goes, well, it's easy to say the kids are dying. But what's really funny is this. When I hear that stuff, right, I'm like, so wait a minute, you're trying to tell me that you think a 6-month-old baby is a Hamas member? Like they have a rational decision to say, yeah, I'm Hamas.
Stupid. But dude, everybody knows now that there's no equating the Palestinians to specifically a group called Hamas. Everybody knows that it's innocent children that are dying.
So I don't think they do.
He just did.
The people. What they will say is, so they know there's innocent children dying. What they're gonna tell you is that, well, Hamas.
He said it's kind of the same cause.
No, they're gonna tell you Hamas didn't think about. They don't care about their own people.
I understand.
They knew that was gonna happen, and so Hamas, the baby. Yeah, we don't like babies dying, but that's Hamas's fault.
None of the college campuses kids that are protesting are supporting Hamas. No one is supporting Hamas.
That is
bro.
the biggest conflation. Like
What an idiot, bro. He's a smart person, dude.
The fact that he opened with that college kids are supporting
He's supposed to be a
Hamas.
smart dude. He just obliterated
No, that's
his
not about
career.
smartness. That's intentional.
It's emotional, yeah,
That-
definitely.
I understand that, but the
intentional.
whole world now knows that's stupidity.
No, it's not about stupidity. They know they're pushing a narrative. It's not about being smart or dumb.
I understand
the
that.
world, people know that if you're on the side of Israel, you're going to have to call the college campus protesters Hamas members.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what it's not about being right or wrong. It's about constantly pushing the lie, the narrative that Palestinians deserve this. They elected Hamas. This is Hamas in the campuses. All the MSAs are Muslim Brotherhood. Hamas is Muslim Brotherhood. They're trying to push the narrative that this is all extremism.
Yeah. But I'm starting to take a step back now, and I've done this for a long time, and now I'm seeing other people do it too. You see a lot of these non-Muslims are coming out and say, we have to stop taking this narrative that Hamas is so bad that we have to be, oh my God, we have to condemn them. Bullshit. Why am I going to condemn Hamas? I don't get it. Why? Because these people are calling them terrorists? Because these people are saying that they're bad? Nobody really knows the truth about the Hamas, right? Like, they don't know who they are. We're just using the Western social media, Western media
construct,
narrative to. But I go back now is a good time to say, hey, What's wrong with Hamas? They're freedom fighters. Like, do you understand what's been happening to them? Why they pop up? Why they get created?
Well, they'll tell you that.
You know?
Oh, because
the CIA created them, and this did this, and we did this, and we did it for Israel. Whatever, man. You know, they're here. They're free. They're fighting for their freedom. That's the end of the day. They're not terrorists. Anybody who fights for their freedom is not a terrorist. But to take this narrative and say, oh, they're supporting Hamas, go ahead. Okay, fine, whatever. They're supporting Palestinians. If you want to say Hamas and Palestinians are one and the same, they're all fighting for their freedom.
So here's the problem with that. Right now in America, we can say that, right? But in certain places in the world, if you say you support Hamas, then you're equivalent to terrorists.
It's stupid,
right? So, but here's the problem. Here's the bigger problem with all of that, right? The bigger problem with all of that is that when you call somebody a terrorist group, right? If you do that, that is primarily a political maneuvering. Like, for example, Nelson Mandela was a terrorist. Taliban were terrorists, right? But it's only, and what is terrorism in their books? It's people who threaten or use violence or intimidate people for political gain. So basically, when someone has a political opposition, they can discredit another group by labeling them terrorists.
Yeah.
So that's why we all have this saying that one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. So it's funny because if you go back to the Iraq War, the Iraqis are calling Americans terrorists, and the terrorists are calling the Iraqis terrorists, right? So it's just a word, it's just jargon.
Yeah.
It's just to push your cause forward. Yeah. But really, these terms are arbitrary. Yeah. It depends on who's using the word terrorist.
Agreed.
Look, it's undeniable that Hamas did do suicide bombings, and they did kill civilians in the 90s or whatever. And
for no reason.
No, not for no reason.
Okay, not quite right. There's a reason.
Obviously,
they have a reason.
It's a response to Israel killing people. That's all it was.
So, but just to put it in context, we're not glossing over anything. We know that there is a period of where Hamas did target civilians and do bombings and etc. So, but it seems like they've changed their ways. Like that's no longer.
You're failing to mention that Israel did the same exact thing. That they kill innocent civilians.
Yeah, he's not saying that.
Yeah, no. I'm thinking. This is the funny part, right? Like we have to say. For yeah, this is the funny part that we have to say. Well, Hamas, we acknowledge they used to be like that, and now they might have changed. But the problem is that every single government out there has done this. But we don't say, well, we acknowledge, but they seem to have changed, so we can come to the table.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's saying that, but I'm saying the very fact that we have to highlight that, and we have to always mention that, like, oh, that happened in the past. But so did the British government, so did the Americans, so did the Russians, so did every Israelis, Chinese, every single. They killed innocents, they bombed, they maimed, they raped. I mean, you name it, they've done it.
Yeah, the dilemma.
Again, it's still important to understand why they did it.
Oh,
they didn't. They're not the ones who started it.
No, look, an occupation force by default. An occupation force, which was Israel, if they did, there's a lot of the Palestinians felt that every single one of these people are combatants because they're an occupational force, right? Now, the beautiful thing about Islam is we have an edge over everybody as far as morals and conducting ourselves, even in warfare, right? Because a lot of scholars believed that if you went to Palestine, even back then, you're in Dar al-Harb, you're in warfare because it's occupied, and as long as it's occupied, you're in a war zone, right? That's understandable. But as Muslims, we know that even in rules of engagement and in war, we still have much more morals than everybody else because of our deen. But but we'll continue that, I guess.
Yeah, let me just.
I don't want to keep stalling this.
Yeah. Actually brave on this.
Pat yourself on the back.
It's easy to say I'm for the kids. Who's not for the kids?
Well,
it comes down to real hard-nosed decisions. Like a country.
Stop talking like you're a general.
A country got attacked.
I love that.
Israel got attacked.
I'm not saying that they didn't have a right to go back. I'm just sitting there going how do I look at what?
We're the only country in the world that they get attacked, and then as soon as they counterattack, it's like, well, we got to stop this shit now. Don't attack them. There's a very simple solution to all this problem in the Middle East. Stop attacking Israel.
Nobody.
Hey, you
Stop
just solved
attacking
it.
Israel.
You just solved it.
I actually
there
did.
You go. That's fantastic.
Anyway.
All right.
I love that because he's just
he's belittling him.
He completely disarmed him. Like, oh, you solved it.
Yeah.
It was that easy because you did absolutely.
It takes
nothing.
a lot of guts to do that because you could argue back.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's just sitting there, look at his posture too. Look at the way he's sitting. He doesn't care. All spread out.
Yeah.
Like, all right, you solved everything. It's like not only is he not like up, open eyes, paying attention to you.
Excellent
he's
observation.
lying down, and then he's like, "Oh, you solved it." It's like a double whammy, bro.
Because most of us get too emotionally, just like
if it was me, I'd sit up. I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about,
bro?"
bro?
Like, yeah, I know you're just ready to pounce, right?
Yeah.
But he's just completely disarming him
Yep.
with his kind of
Killing them softly.
All right,
He's chilling.
We don't need to get onto
go
that.
Let's go to Russia and the Ukraine. How do you solve that one, Bill? Let me hear your hard-nosed decision about that. Well, let me ask you a question. How is war still legal? All this shit that's been canceled.
Legal.
Why is that still fucking legal?
Would you like a real answer to that? Because for something to be illegal, you have to have the capacity to enforce it. And you can't enforce against war, or else you have to go to war with the country that's going to war. And we don't want to go to war with Russia over Ukraine. What would be the sense of making it illegal? Oh, that's really going to stop Putin. No. To stop people from going to war, you have to also put
You can't sit down and talk it out. Why can't Putin do a podcast with the head guy?
Ready to give life and get paid.
All right, so there you have it.
There was more to it, but yeah,
there's more to it, and I think I will find that.
Yeah, people can go check it out, but it's really important. I'm glad that he had the ability to do it how he did, not just answering, but just do it how he did it, not giving him major respect. And he was kind of making fun of him, later on in the clip, acting like, he's like, hey, why are you acting like you're a specialist in politics? You're not a specialist in politics. And he was kind of making fun of him. It was pretty nice. I liked it.
Visit Plasma Source.
Oops, sorry.
Now and score over $700.
You have to also put
You can't sit down and talk it out. Why can't Putin do a podcast with the head guy? Like, you just solved the Middle East on a podcast. Why can't they solve what they're doing on a podcast?
This is why this is not your thing.
Make some hard-nosed decisions. It's not your thing. It's what you.
It is my.
It isn't your thing.
This is not
it
your
isn't.
thing.
You're like that guy that has a fantasy football team and thinks he's a fucking
no.
GM. That's exactly what it is. Like, why am I fucking listening to you like you've done something? What have you done in Washington? Nothing.
No, I would never go to Washington.
It's beneath you.
No, it would. Look,
You would be the coolest fucking guy in Washington. You showed up with those boots
it would be so
and no
easy.
tie. They'd be like, oh my God.
It'd be so easy to
Did
be.
Kevin Bacon just come back to that Footloose town?
Kevin Bacon.
You could teach him how to dance, Bill.
Oh, really? I love it, man.
Dude, so chill.
You know, one thing I'm noticing too is that you see how they're so like they give an answer so confidently, like just stop attacking Israel.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, and it seems like such. I mean, so people who are unaware of the conflict, it seems like such an easy thing, right? Oh, like they're total by saying that he's totally absolving Israel of doing any wrong. But with people who are familiar with the conflict, like, wait a minute, dude, what are you talking about? Like, how about Israel stop stealing land, or stop building illegal settlements, or stop? I mean, that's stealing land, right? Yeah. Or how about they stop incarcerating children under 16 years old?
Yeah, without any
and here's one of the crazier things right now that's going on is this war is about Hamas, right? So then why the hell is Israel in the West Bank? Why are they bombing the buildings and destroying buildings in the West Bank?
Because
who we know is under Fatah, who hates Hamas, what they actually argue as a case against Hamas. They say, oh, look, Hamas was hanging Fatah members or throwing them off the buildings in Gaza in 2015, right? All this stuff, right? And now they're attacking and this is also, by the way, sorry, before you add, it's a lesson to show the hypocrisy, but also a lesson for the people who are involved in the conflict to know that the idea of complacency and submission doesn't work. Fatah has submitted everything. They have literally shared intelligence. They have shared the border. They've handed all the security over.
They've become bootlickers.
Yes, exactly. They even rat out on their own citizens. They will literally coordinate with the Shin Bet and other places, and they will hand over Palestinians to them because they don't want to ruffle the feathers, right? But what has that gotten them?
Absolutely.
Humiliation. Even when the other party does something that they hate, they're feeling the backlash of it.
Yep.
And what do you realize, or at least learn from the communication that the Israelis have? It's very simple. Right? Because they know human beings operate very simply. You just have to give them simple slogans. Whenever you see them in debates, they don't do that well unless they're just talking over the person and just throwing a whole bunch of things that are take a long time to explain. You'll see that's one strategy they do when they're in a debate and where they're actually faced up against someone who knows what they're talking about. They just they just go crazy, right? Yeah. And they just talk over some of them and throw 50 different things that all are completely easily refutable, right? Yeah. But their main strategy is just use simple words. Israel, don't attack Israel. Don't be on the side of Hamas. Just these type of things. Like people will be like, "Oh yeah, well that makes sense. Who would want to be on the side of Hamas, and why would you want to attack a sovereign country?" And because remember the people who we were talking about earlier, the people you just lift up their hood underneath their head. There's not much there. Yeah. It's not like you're trying to fix something, but rather people like the Israelis have identified that you just have to fill their head with just simple things. Yeah. Because there's nothing there. They can't decipher right for wrong. They don't know how to make sense of anything. They don't know how to make any kind of judgment.
The majority of people were uninitiated anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't even know too much about it.
So that goes to our next segment where we're going to be talking about the Netanyahu's plan for 2035.
This is, yeah.
So, Shaq, you want to give an intro on that?
The Muslims knew it all along. Their utopia. It's a lot of things are coming up. People have been talking about it for a while. Mort talked about the Ben Gurion, tunnel or the pipelines and the new world that they're trying to create. Their 2030 or 2035 vision, I think it is. And when you see it, you're like, I knew it. Muslims all along, who actually know this conflict or understood a little bit of it or lived in the Muslim world and understood the sentiment of the Muslims and the Palestinians as a whole, knew that. When we saw it, we're like, I knew it. And it just solidified and is stamped that, yes, they are as evil as we thought they were. They are worse than Shayateen. They definitely are.
So when you look at this, you see, the benevolent Netanyahu has a plan for Gaza. He's going to make Gaza into a utopian 2035. By 2035, he's going to make it a utopian paradise. Look at that. Look at all the green. Look at all the olive trees and look at all the farmland and skyscrapers, and there's a port and there's going to be trade happening, commerce, and all kinds of amazing things that are going to be happening here.
You know what it looks like? It's still a page out of Saudi Neon Project.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
A catalog, right? For the Neon Project?
Yeah.
The failed one?
Yeah.
It's like, you guys are failing right now. Just give us your plan. We'll just throw it over here.
So before people think this is things we found somewhere in an obscure news article, this is the Jerusalem Post. This is a very reputable left-wing Israeli news outlet. Yeah. So let's just go through the article just for a bit.
Yeah.
There has been much debate about exactly what Israel's plans for a post-war Gaza would look like. Documents from the Prime Minister's office were published online on Friday, showing Israel's plan to revitalize the Gazan economy. The documents published online showed Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's attempt to bring about a lasting peace and reintegrate Gaza into a regional economy through a large infrastructure and economic investment. The plan laid out the goal of rebuilding Gaza in order to moderate its politics. It's called Gaza an Iranian outpost. It called Gaza an Iranian outpost that sabotages emerging supply chains and thwarts any future hope for the Palestinian people. Because you care about the Palestinian people, the Iranians are hurting the Palestinian people's future, and that's why you're going to fix it.
Such manipulation.
The plan also highlighted the historically central place that Gaza held in east-west trade routes, being on both the Baghdad and Egypt trade routes and the Yemen-Europe trade routes. So here's a nice little graphic they made with little gas and oil fields in the Mediterranean. They got beaches and tourist resorts, it looks like, in this map. And trains that are coming into Gaza, and airports. Oh, look, they got a little airplane there too. So they're going to rebuild the airport. So all these things. So there's 3 steps to success that they've outlined over here.
Oh, I can't wait
According
hear
to the
this.
documents, there are 3 steps for returning Gaza to self-governance. The first is titled humanitarian aid. It's planned for 12 months. Israel will create safe areas free of Hamas control, starting in the north and slowly spreading south. The coalition of Arab countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, Bahrain, Jordan, and Morocco, the biggest sellouts, will apportion and supervise humanitarian aid in the safe areas. Gazan Palestinians will run the safe zones under the supervision of the Arab states. Stage 2 would occur in the next 5 to 10 years. The plan is to move Israeli security responsibility to Israel, while the Arab coalition will create a multilateral body called the Gaza Rehabilitation Authority to oversee the reconstruction efforts and manage the Strip's finances. The GRA is to be run by Gazan Palestinians and will take responsibility for managing the safe areas. This will be done in coordination with the implementation of the Marshall Plan and the re-radicalization program. Stage 3, termed self-governance, would see Israel retain the right to act against security threats. The power would slowly be transferred to either a local Gaza government or a unified Palestinian government, including the West Bank. However, this is contingent on the successful de-radicalization and demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, and would be subject to agreement by all by all parties. The final step would be for the Palestinians to fully manage Gaza independently and join the Abraham Accords. So,
Such confidence. They think all that's going to happen.
well, what we have to understand when we see this, we have to understand what the Israelis' ultimate goal is, right? What's their future? And when we've discussed what have we discussed over the show, on the show or over the past 7 months or whatever from this conflict? What does Israel envision for that land, the West Bank?
A world without any Palestinians, a world without any Muslims. Yes.
So why would they be saying this? Why are they putting this out? It's a question, right? Because if they don't want Palestinians to be part of Gaza and the West Bank, which they don't, we've clearly seen that we're we're marking the anniversary of the Nakba today. How many years has it been?
75.
75?
I think so. 79, was it? I forgot.
Yeah. So why does it make sense, or why is it that these guys are leaking this document out? Quote, I'm saying leaking because this is usually like a intentional leak that comes out of the Prime Minister's office.
Bring it in
because a
slowly.
staffer wants to let people know why. No, of course not. We're not that naive. We know that it was an intentional leak that gave this information out. So right now, we know Israel is experiencing a whole lot of bad PR. People are thinking that Israel wants to eradicate the Palestinians and the Gazans, and they're being charged with ethnic cleansing. The ICJ's ruling on them. Netanyahu and his cabinet are meeting. They had several meetings over the past couple weeks about how to deal with the ICJ ruling. So when you have all this stuff happening, you kind of want to change the narrative. Like, you want to show, like, hey, we're not crazy butchers. We're not these type of insane genociders that you guys are trying to portray us as. We're looking out for these people. We want them to have the best life. We want them to have everything that you and I have. We want them to be joining us in modernity. We want them to have the best of that we have, all the best things that we have. And so ultimately, when you see something like this, and even if it was true, even if they had something like this that was created to sell to the Arabs, which the Saudis and Egyptians will gladly jump on.
Oh, yeah, they'll eat it up right away.
What do we know? So if they did have this, and this was like proven to be true, what do you think Israel's next step is? Because remember, we have to go back to their original objective:
eradication
of the Palestinians.
Cleansing, yeah.
So how would they deal with it? Because from one side of their mouth, they're saying we're planning this utopia for the Palestinians. How do we deal with this new thing, this grand plan,
Hmm.
we sabotage it. We sabotage it, right? I mean, that's the you say you create some other problem where you have some kind of opposition group create, or maybe it's just their own operations, their own psyops, or military creating some kind of problem where it's attacking the projects that they're creating, and they'll say, "Look, they're savages. We told you they can't do it.
Keep
We
the
can't do
narrative
this.
going.
We're trying to help them, and they're destroying it."
Keep the narrative going.
So this is how they play the game. This is that their Hasbara plan. It's Hasbara. People sometimes think it's just blatant lies, which it is. There are blatant lies. We know, just about how they conflate Hamas with the Palestinians, and all kinds of different ways and techniques that they have to get you to change the way you think about things. But when you have to ultimately think, as a state, they've made a decision. They need the people in Gaza and the West Bank gone. Okay, so everything will tie back to that stated prime objective. Then that's their number one goal, because they want that unified land. That sliver of land the entire sliver has to belong to them. That's how they've envisioned it. So we have to understand, we have to be careful when you see things like this. These are all intentionally released to the public so that they they second guess themselves, like maybe the Israelis are looking out for the best of them. Maybe there is this psychological these psychos at Hamas that they're only targeting, and it happened that a few Palestinians, a few 35,000 Palestinians were killed. It's just
What were we thinking?
Yeah.
Who are we siding with? The narrative continues. Wow.
Any thoughts, Mort?
Thanks for that political analysis. That was great, dude. I gotta taking notes here.
Well, one thing I was thinking about was like how you're mentioning that you see gaslighting in real time.
Yeah.
People don't know what that term gaslighting is. Now you're getting a practical example of what gaslighting is, especially when you see these narratives about, oh, why don't the Palestinians just move to Jordan? Yeah. Like it's just total gaslighting, right? Yeah. Instead of acknowledging the wrong thing, right? Instead of saying, oh, well, it's your fault for not moving.
Yeah.
We empathize with you, but if you really if you really cared about yourself, you'd move. And it's just the funniest thing to me. And you know what I find funny too is like the people that make the argument about that is like it's funny how when it's in their favor to separate the Arabs and Muslims, they do, right? And when it's not in their favor, they lump them together. For example, oh, you know what? The Saudis, they didn't support you. The Egyptians don't support you, right? The Jordanians support you. It's just everyone hates the Palestinians, right? But then when it comes to Palestine, what they should do, well, you're Arabs. You should go with the Arab. Why don't your Arab brothers take you in, right? Like, why don't you just go to your Arab nations, right? Like, wait, you just said that they don't like you. You just said that they don't want to. They're helping you, and the Israelis, and now you think that they're gonna go take in refugees,
right?
Like, what are you saying? Like, it's just so bizarre.
They just throw everything at the wall, right? They want to throw anything that they can and hope that it sticks in your mind and create doubt. And this is all part of how they do conduct that Hasbara campaign. Here's the 76 years of Nakba. Here's the original land, Palestine, and and there it is in 1937, 1947. You have the West Bank and Gaza, and bit by bit, the Israelis have been breaking it up, and this is what remains of the West Bank now.
Wow.
That's what. So you see on maps and stuff, you see this huge like West Bank. You're thinking that, like, oh, that's all Palestinian. No, that's not. Only those little dots.
So blatant, so obvious.
So, did you guys see some of the latest videos?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
one sec.
pretty crazy stuff, man. So what's been going on? I was kind of out of town for a while, and anything else happening? I haven't really. I honestly, I kind of this time I just kind of tuned out of everything.
I could tell you. I think you needed it. That was good. You did that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had some other new things starting, and I'm super busy now with not just that thing, but other endeavors, and I needed that. Like, sometimes it's good just to unplug.
It's great.
Honestly, I just put my phones away. Like, I went a whole week without touching my phone.
That was one of the best things I ever did.
Yeah, and it's like
hard, very hard.
I just unplugged. I mean, I had it. I just glanced at it, but I purposely, huh?
You went on vacation?
Yeah. But I. This is like a mindful vacation where it was like, okay, I'm really going to just unplug, all right? And I had everything with me just in case I needed to work, but I didn't. Like I to the point where I'm telling you, like my phones were in a different room.
Heck yeah.
Like I just put them away. And I only had one phone that was on. I told everybody else that, hey, if you need to get a hold of me, call my main phone, right? And that's it. I just had both my work phones there, but I had them on airplane mode.
Yep.
Didn't want to do anything, whatever. And and it was really good because you get to get in focus. Like I was reading a book after a while. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I read at home too, but just to sit down and like read
calmly,
and chill and like think about stuff, right? And just, you reflect about certain things, right? Like,
when he said mindful, remind me, imagine Mort doing mindfulness exercises. Imagine Mort doing meditation and mindfulness.
I invented mindfulness. What are you talking about? No, but I mean, I was like, but it puts things into perspective a lot of times, right? Like, because at nighttime you get home, like, let me see what's on social media. Let me see what's going on here, right? And you just don't get a chance to kind of reset your mind, right? You're constantly being bombarded with all this nonsense.
Yeah, well.
I gotta check Gaza. I gotta check this. I gotta check that. Oh, what's Biden doing? What's Trump doing? What's happening over here? Or all these things that's going on. You just can't. You're plugged,
that
right?
That stuff amps you up, man. It amps you up. That's why I told you guys, man. I think
and you feel so invested. Like you actually feel like you have to do this to like like it's part of your routine.
Feel bad if you don't, bro.
Right? Like, and the crazy part is like you don't mean anything to them, and like. You're insignificant to any of these things happening. I'm not saying don't be aware, but to the degree of how some people are so invested, it's almost as if they have a say. They have like some kind of connection to
You know, this reminds me of people who watch sports. This is exactly how I feel about people who not. It's one thing to watch sports, but I have a family,
but like religiously.
Yeah, I have a family chat, and I have some friends that they talk. The Bulls are doing this. And, oh my God, this guy's being traded here. And I'm like, dude, what are you guys like getting paid for this job? I mean, are you making money off of this? Like
that's one of the reasons why
so much time with this. You know,
I'll be honest, bro. Like growing up, like we had these.
I think it's some like amazing, good thing that they're doing. It's like it's better than drinking. I'm like, why was all of a sudden we have to resort to that?
Yeah.
Why did it compare it to something haram right away? Well, it's better than us gambling and
it's better than drinking.
Really?
It's better than fornicating on Saturday night.
Why was that an option?
I'll just fornicate with my fingers. What?
Why was that an option to begin with? Like, why would we have to do?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No, but I mean, look, I think people right now, I would never say don't tone it down. People need to be glued in because we just don't have enough people. There has to be a lot more work by everyone. Everyone has to be lifting each other up. The idea that we take the pedal off take our foot off the pedal is long gone, because we're doing a lot of makeup work. A lot of times over the past 20, 30 years, Muslims, particularly in the West, have been sleeping. I'm not saying every single one, but in general,
as a whole, yes.
Where we've been sleeping and we haven't been doing enough, and we haven't.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think that being glued to CNN all day long is going to help your cause anyway.
No,
right?
No one's saying to go be glued to CNN.
That's what I mean.
We're talking about sharing posts and making sure that
right. And that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But even so what I'm saying is like, if you're sharing something and you're just getting the word out, you're doing your active. That's fine. You're doing your thing. You're doing your part. But there are people who go beyond that. Like they have to wake up in the morning. Like, and it happens to me. It's not just people. Me. Like I go to news.google.com. Oh, world news. What's happening right now? Like, I want to be on top of it. I can't have somebody else tell me something I didn't know. Right, like I need to be on top of it, right? And I think, in that regards, I think
you're also a podcaster too, so you have to know.
Yeah, but I'm saying you don't have to. What I'm saying is that I don't have to be as plugged into it all the time.
Well, you
like,
know, I think what you're trying to say is it's just in general social media.
Yeah, you need to balance it.
Yeah, the phone.
You need to balance it. Like sometimes,
you know,
what I'm saying is like if I get home, right, okay, in the morning check the news, right. But there's people who are glued on it, where every newsletter they're clicking everything. Yeah. It'll never stop. Like it'll never stop, and then you lose sight on what actually you need to do, what actions you have to do. Yeah. You're too busy caught up in what's happening and not doing anything.
Most people are just living off the phone. Dude.
Yeah,
they're living in the phone. They're not enjoying moments, you know. And I've seen it to such a point where, I mean, it's so, you know, it's not about, you know, not being plugged in sim. It's about just how there's no like self time. There's no self awareness time. There's no time to like think for yourself. You're just, everyone else is thinking for you, giving you ideas, making up your mind for you. And even though you might think you have an opinion, you'll be surprised psychologically how much, you know, influence you have from all these weird like ads
and that's what I was gonna get
clips
to.
And short slips and blah 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 and whatnot. It's important to,
and that's what I was gonna get to. Like, and it was stuff as Simon's talking about 100% right. Like we know certain. I mean, without the news, without it at all, we know the whole issue of Palestine. We have to be pedal to the metal, right? No problem. I 100% agree. But there's a lot of things that when you're so plugged with news that you end up not being able to think for yourself.
Yeah.
You're just emotionally thrown around, and that's what's happened to a lot of people. They're jumping on every cause, everything, or every narrative because they don't, like, for example, the whole issue of how we approach even describing Hamas. Why do people get that way? Because they've watched enough media to say, oh, you have to say Hamas is bad. You have to say that they're terrorists or they've done bad things, point, right? Yeah. You have to, because that's the narrative right now, right? The narrative is not that, okay, well, everyone's done it, right? And a person who analyzes situations or steps back, maybe not be intelligent or have to know all the details, again, look, but who steps back and says, wait a minute, well, other countries have done this. There have been groups like this who have been labeled as terrorists and then also been labeled the freedom fighters the next decade.
But that's going, you know, again, going into like giving them an excuse. But you know, a good point is those short films. It's the incomplete information that you get from here is a problem, right? So if someone says Hamas is a terrorist, instead of saying, okay, yeah, other countries have done it, what about the history? Has anyone, you know, really, if anyone goes and just reads the history very generally, you don't have to go deep into the history. You don't have to, I'm not a big political guy. I'm not big into, you know, but if you just go history and just read it very, you know, blatant history, you don't have to, you know, go in, not the Western media history books that they teach in schools. I don't know, just look at history. What happened? How did this happen? How did Israel come into existence, you know? Do they really have a right to exist? Do they really have a right to defend themselves? I mean, these simple questions people don't ask because they're too busy living in their phone. And let me tell you how much they live in their phone. You go to any event, whether it's your children's event, whether it's a talk. You know, I went to talk. This guy Mufti Tariq Masood came. Okay, I went to see him one time. I said, you know what? Let me see this guy. I always hear his clips, amazing. You know, his talks, really fun. Let me go see this guy. I went because I thought he's going to spread some knowledge. You know, he's going to say something amazing. But the entire time that he was here, it was just a celebrity sighting type of situation. All these, I went to the masjid one time. The masjid was so packed. I've never seen the masjid this packed. And this is Dar es-Salaam. They're packed all the time. I got there 10 minutes before Maghrib. Couldn't find his parking spot. Had to park in like the third lot, whatever it is. Walk in. I'm praying in the basement. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And then when you go to, and then I'm like, okay, let me sit down. Sit down and listen carefully. There's no sit. Everyone's sitting there and watching him through their phone. I mean, I watched the dude through my phone 20 times. Enough times that I want to see him in live. And I want to get the experience of watching him speak. Maybe learn something from him. Maybe he'll say something profound. I don't know, because there's some profound stuff that he said. You know, but what I didn't realize, everyone's just there and watching. And the same thing with kids, right? You go to a kid's basketball game or you go to any, your kids like events, and they're doing something, and everyone's just on their phone. Shadi, everywhere they go, you see there's certain people that just the whole time they're looking through their phone.
They want to have a great story.
And then when they go back, they're just looking at it through their phone again. They haven't experienced real life. Yeah. People are missing out on real life right now. That's what
I've heard about this guy a lot. Like, what's the appeal about him?
He's the cool thing is
he looks cool.
I just don't know anything about him. Like, what?
So he's
because anyone's all over Chicago, everyone was talking about him.
Well, think about like a Mufti Menk,
but
like more from like the Pakistani
side,
like that type of popularity.
Urdu speaking Mufti Menk,
very good Urdu speaking. He's funny. He's got 4 wives. So that adds a little bit to his toolkit. But he's a scholar, obviously. So he talks about fiqh issues. He talks about
and also
talks about funny stuff. Has a funny joking thing too.
Yeah. He's also not afraid to apologize if he says something wrong.
Yeah.
And he's done that before too, where he
Yeah.
made a mistake and he said, "Hey, I apologize," and that humbleness people respect about him.
He was on Usman ibn Farouk. You know Usman Farouk.
Mm-hmm.
That's his name, right? The
Usman ibn Farouk,
Yeah,
yeah.
Usman. Yeah, he was on a thing with him too. They had like a collab where they did a show together. So you know, like he just tries to get along with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he's like a nice guy.
He's all about motivating people to
Yeah,
do good.
but one brother was telling me something really interesting. He said he came all the way here from the other side of the world, and some dude just asked him about like the Zabiya halal type thing.
Oh, man.
He's like, dude, Chicago has no shortage of having the. Dude comes all the way here from that, so it kind of shows like you're just here just to get a reaction out of him. And
Like we have enough scholars
have
to
anything to
debate
say.
that. Like
Yeah.
this guy who's visiting.
Yeah, that's another thing. And you know, this is very rampant in today's our community is that we do have that's perfect. You have your local scholar, but yet when this new guy comes, you're going in there and asking this guy questions. I see this all the time. People say, you know, we have so many scholars here. Oh yeah, I called this guy in California. And I got this fatwa. I'm like, well, you're doing something shady. That's the problem. You know? You're doing something
You're
shady.
the dude who goes to another state to get married.
And usually it's a fatwa for like, oh, you know, I did 3 talaqs, but like, you know, I don't want it to count. So I called some dude out in Canada, and he said I didn't say it in 3 shots. So you know,
Yeah, we're good.
So we're good to go. And you know, this guy's got like 100 talaqs under his belt, but you know, he's still married. I know.
No. I've seen issues like that where people come from another state to get married. It's like, we just need the imam to get us married.
Yeah.
I was like,
Bro, that's why I just
I
stick to
don't
Amr, bro. I have a problem. I stick to Amr, bro. I'm like, hey,
You know, but
Slip a couple dollars, Chalmer, under the table.
but he duped us on Ramadan, bro. He messed us up.
Yeah.
Did it? What
Why?
happened
Why?
over that
What did he
again?
do?
Remember, he's like, "Oh, global has a problem, and let's just do so." But luckily, alhamdulillah, it worked out that the Eid was on the same day.
Oh, that's true. I thought you were talking
Yeah.
about not showing up for an episode.
Oh, no.
I was like, no, we didn't have any episodes.
No.
We didn't have any episodes during
No.
Ramadan, right? No.
But anyways, but yeah, I mean, I think coming
No,
back
roll
to
it back
the
to
to
your
coming back to the
initial
issue with
next clip
Sim,
or
is
something?
I don't want people to confuse the idea of what we're talking. I think Sim makes a great point that Muslims are playing catch up, right? But I think when that means we have to be even more precise in what the actions that we take, because we don't have time to do the you know the peripheral things, right? Everything we say, we have to mean it. Everything we do, it has to be with intent. Everything has to be done with purpose and intent,
Yeah.
right? It has to be impactful, right? Like, for example, if we're going to support a cause, it better be the right one.
Yeah.
If we're going to go to a rally, it better be the right one. If you're going to say something, it better be the right word, right? It better be the right narrative, right? We don't have time to go back and fix anything back again, right? We're already
No, but what I
making up
gathered
for
from-
lost time.
No, what I gathered from you is, look, I think everybody needs to unplug. Do you remember that one time when I told you guys that I just took a break from everything? I got
Yeah, it
that
still
burner
bugged you.
phone. That burner phone, yeah. Dude, that was the best thing I ever did in my life. Like, as far as last 10 years, as far as like relief, first few hours it was weird not having my phone. And then after that, it was like the most relaxing weekend I ever had in like the past 10 years. And I was like, I got to do this again. It was like the most healthiest vacation. I think everybody needs to unplug. I think it's very, very important because then your purpose is restored again.
Yep.
You're rejuvenated, and then you're like, all right, let's do this. You know, because after a while,
Ultimately, look, yes, it's great to unplug and whatnot, but you have to figure out that you have to live with this thing.
yeah,
This phone.
yeah,
It's my big old phone right here. It's got the wallet attached to it.
yeah.
See that? It's very practical. I encourage everyone to
Yeah,
have
I got
a
it. 'cause you
case
told me
of
to. I got it because you told me to. I got the same
I
thing.
got,
'cause you told me
Sheikh.
to.
Look at Sheikh. Mashallah. I love it when someone listens to good advice.
I even
Bro, I
got the
lose my
magnet over
phone
here,
all
bro.
the
But
time,
my
bro.
question though,
Yeah,
can it be a
so-
stand if you need it to be?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, now it's got
And that's
old
my
now.
biggest problem,
It's got
right?
old now,
Where
but
I have all these phones for work, so I have to like, you know.
I hate carrying a wallet around and
You know what I
you're
mean? Like,
managing 10
you know?
different things and then you lose it or something. So,
But anyways,
I don't want
but
to
yeah,
one
so
shot.
so you're
ultimately,
stuck
look,
with it. now.
you have this
Okay,
thing. You got to figure out how to use it responsibly so that it's not impeding in your growth, your connection to Allah, your connection to your children, your responsibilities as a father.
Yo, but
And-
you have to understand, bro. This thing was made for that purpose.
Right. But you have to figure out because
but
how
the
many
pur-
times
I know, but you're- what you're saying is
it's like telling a cigarette smoker,
Yeah.
okay, take a break from cigarettes for X amount of days, but then he's gonna start smoking again, and he'll just get back to his 10 pack a day
I know, but
lifestyle.
I'm not disagreeing, but what I'm trying to tell
But-
you is that this is a very uphill battle. What you're trying to say, you know. And I'm gonna give you an example. Someone used to say something to me when I was younger that used to piss me off. And the phone was built for this. It's not that. Yes, it's a great tool. I get it. There's a computer in here, and you know, a lot of people say, "Man, you have a computer in your hand. You know what you could do with this." Yeah. I've spoken to some businessmen who are millionaires because they can do everything on their phone. They have their apps here, and they actually work.
Yeah, all of us work from our phones.
Right? I mean, they do real work, and that's all they use their phone for, and they're wildly successful. But for the more common public, this thing was freaking designed to destroy your life. This was what it was. They had to destroy everything. I mean, whatever you say, whatever they say, you believe, right? Whatever they ask you to buy, you buy, right? Whatever they want to influence you to think and do, it's what this is in. Nobody's thinking for themselves. No one's doing anything on their own. I mean, people don't even know how to freaking take care of their health, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so pathetically sad that they're so dependent on this thing.
Yo, I saw the craziest thing on vacation, bro. I was in California, right? They got this new Apple Vision, right? Bro, I saw 2 people sitting at a dinner table at a high-end restaurant with these. I was on Rodeo Drive eating a halal steak from, you know, Creekstone, right? I was
pretty lady
getting down, right?
Pretty woman. Rodeo Drive.
So, and they're sitting in the restaurant, and they got this Apple Vision thing on, and they're both sitting there, and they're not and they're going like this the whole time.
Oh, shut up!
Like this.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because they're like zooming and like whatever, right? And
it's the same thing as doing this, right? All the time.
Yeah, but it's like now it's in the face, right? But they can't even see each other now. I mean, I guess they can if you can.
Yeah, they have those
lower
glasses,
the visor now, whatever. But it's just the obstruction, the distance. It's crazy that you could be so close to somebody, right, sitting right here, and be so distant,
and disconnected. Yeah. But
again, it's so wild to me. And I tell you something. The reason why I'm saying this is because I get what he's saying, but at the same time, these things are also killing your family life.
Everything, bro.
No, everything.
When I
can tell you personally.
Yeah, like when I sit with my wife, I'll just put this thing down, throw it away, because I realize now what. Yeah, but no, I'm saying now I realize.
Yeah, it takes time.
Because look, let's be honest, right? As men, we already have a hard time listening. Right, and then you add this in there, right? Yeah. Like you add this in there, it just makes it 10 times worse.
No, I mean, not just that, but even the kids, man. Like, you know, you don't pay attention to your kids as much because there's people, you know, just randomly. I mean, I just texting, phone calls, that in itself takes up a lot of time. You know, people can just pick up and communicate. Another problem is we talk too much now because of this damn thing, right? We're communicating all the freaking time. Yeah. Imagine 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when we were younger. Dude, if I didn't see you, if I say, hey, I'm going to talk to you next, I had no way to communicate to you and say I'm changing plans. You know, I gotta be there on Wednesday. Otherwise, you're gonna be there. You know, look, waiting for me, and that was it.
Man, you still be up, bro.
You gotta call the house. I mean, you had to really track someone down to find them. It was impossible to find people.
And then when you saw them, you were so happy.
Yeah. Now I'm not happy. I'm like, I talked to you yesterday, bro. I don't care.
The communication has tightened up a lot. Yeah.
It's horrible.
No, I mean, but look, good. Ultimately, you switch to either a flip phone.
Yes,
or you figure out how to manage it, right? So what I'm back to what I was saying is that you have to figure out in your mind. You have to have things that you have to be a busy person.
Very tough.
You have to be a man with a plan.
Yeah.
In my mind, the only guys who get completely addicted to phones, meaning when I say addicted to phones, meaning they're not doing anything productive on their phone, just scrolling through reels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Are people who have nothing going on. They're just losers.
Yeah. No, even when they have stuff going
purpose,
on, man. I'm telling you, I'm around guys. I'm around people who are super busy, who are doing things, but they, you know, whenever they have a chance, they're scrolling through the reels. You go to the gym. I'm waiting for a machine. What's the dude doing? He's scrolling through his reels.
No.
Dude, you're at the gym. How can you have time to sit there?
No. You know what you're talking about exactly, Shaq? This is so important. There's a concept called embracing boredom. Because we have the phone, we don't allow ourselves to get bored anymore.
Exactly. Yep.
Like when you're standing in line, what do you do when people are standing on they're waiting? Just take out their phone.
Yep.
They don't just try to talk to people anymore. They don't like just observe.
And you're talking about men.
I think what Sim is saying
what I'm
was
saying is men don't have challenges, bro. I was just at a doctor's office, bro, just past a couple days ago, Monday, and I was sitting at her office. It was about an hour delay, but she's an awesome doctor. And I was like, no way, I'm walking out of this appointment. So I just practiced my Arabic. I was just practicing. Hours straight flew by. I'm like, she's like, oh, they call my name. I'm like, oh, it's only my name. Like,
flies.
Because my mind is busy, bro, and I'm using my phone, but it was for a good thing. Wasn't wasted on reels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Guys who got nothing going on, They have. That's
But
what
see,
they're burning.
I don't think it's a fair count because look, man. I think if it's there, it depends on you have to be conscious. Even I know guys that have, like, for example, me. I'll be honest. I'm in a meeting sometimes. I'm browsing to my phone dumb stuff.
Yep.
Right? I'm just like on Instagram. I'll be sending these guys videos like, oh, look at this stupid dumbass right here. Oh, right? I do that shit. Right? And it's like, but it's just it's hard not to. I think what Sim is trying to say at the end of the day is it's a device that is part of our life, right? Yeah. But we have to make what I'm saying is we have to make conscious efforts to put, just like you have an Xbox at home, you can't plan it all the time. Right? Otherwise, you're going to ruin your life, right? Same thing with your phone. You have to set those boundaries. Say, hey, you know what? After 8 o'clock, I'm putting my phone down.
Look, all tools can be used for good or bad, right?
Yeah,
Like car.
Right.
I always used to say car because it's the most convenient thing in the world to get you from place to A to B. But if you act like a moron, you're gonna go kill somebody. You're gonna kill yourself.
Right.
You're gonna destroy it. Your vehicular manslaughter. But the phone was designed, and social media was designed to do that. And I agree with you. We should be. But when it comes to children, when it comes to women, when it comes to normal men, even the guy with the guys who spend the most TikToks, these guys work. They have families. They're doing everything, but somehow they're sending.
Their fingers, if they're going to bed like with the shahada, bro, like this,
boom, 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 all the time. It's just the way it is. It's designed that way. And I was going to give you an example. I remember when I was younger, I would say, someone told me, oh, your iman should be so strong that you can go into a messed up environment and you should still be able to withstand that. And can you look how stupid does that sound right now, right? As I grew up, I started debating, and I said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Just avoid the goddamn environment, because that's what And then I learned that from the Quran and Hadith. I'm like, this right here,
confirming
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But the whole time they were talking, oh no, your iman should be so strong that even if you go in the wrong environment, you'll be able to withstand it. I'm
you should be able to walk into a TD bar and say, I'm not gonna look.
That's what I mean. Like, it's like walking into fire and saying I'm not gonna burn. So that's the same thing. I mean, yes, I agree. I'm gonna tell you something funny. I don't have social media on my phone. I don't have Facebook. I don't have.
I know.
Smart man.
I try to look for you.
You think
I look for you? You try to do a background check?
No, I do. I have it on my computer. So if I need to use Facebook, I'll go on there and I'll look at it. And it's literally once every 2-3 weeks, But I have LinkedIn on my phone. That's enough.
Yeah, LinkedIn, it could be.
No, but honestly, for me, though,
LinkedIn
LinkedIn is a place that's really like, when I'm on LinkedIn, I'm serious.
But still, every chance I get, every time I'm bored, like I said, when I'm bored, I'm sitting in the car and I'm driving in traffic and I have no one to talk to, I have nothing to do. Guess what? I'm scrolling
see who posted some jobs.
Well, that's jobs. LinkedIn has everything now.
Yeah,
I'm getting all my Palestinian news from LinkedIn.
Yeah. People post, but let me be honest, okay? And I'm gonna be honest here. For me, there's one thing that keeps me busy on my phone all day long when I'm on meetings. It's this stupid fucking game. It's this dumb game right here.
What game is that?
Yeah, it's
Clash
dumb
Royale.
game.
Oh
Clash
my
Royale.
God.
I didn't because it just kills time.
This guy's something for video. Look, he's really good at video games too. But I remember sometimes we'd be like a few years ago, we'd be watching a movie or something, and I was like, look at him more. I was like, more. How come Moore's not looking at the screen? He's over here. I could see his phone. He's playing Candy Crush. Lying down on the couch. I was like, dude, why are we watching a movie if we play Candy Crush?
And it happens though because you get so like, and this is what I'm trying to say. Like, you get in the habit of just like, oh, I got a minute. Let me just do a quick like this, right? Yeah. It's like it's twitch that you get, right? And so this is what I'm saying. Like, I get all this in the wonderful. Be productive. I'm productive too. I work I'm very productive, right? But I also know when I'm wasting my time, and I'm gonna be real and honest about it. A lot of my phone time is nonsense, and I want to cut that down. Yeah, that's right. True. Like that stuff, I'm gonna be like, okay, you know what? There's another game I started playing. I just deleted it. I'm like, you know what? I can't add another game into the mix of this game. No way, right? I'm gonna get rid of it, right? Yeah. And my point is that, and this is what I'm saying when I said earlier about being, everything has to be with intent and purpose.
Yes, sir.
Right? If we're making up for lost time, then let's implement that in our life. Right? We don't have time to waste. Right? And if I can cut that down, because look, what we're talking about here is on a micro level. On a macro level, yeah, we've lost a lot of time as a community. We missed opportunities, right? But that starts with the micro level, right? Like what we're doing right now. Just lying to yourself, saying, oh, the phone's a perfect thing for me. It's great. It's wonderful. I'm so productive. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not productive, right? And so that's just, if you're really productive, then it would show, right? We would see it as an ummah. We'd be really productive, super productive as an ummah. But we're not. And I hate to say this, but how much stuff have we invented? How much stuff have we changed? What have we done in the world?
Yeah, in the past
just build more apps.
Yeah, I mean, more apps. And even the Muslim apps that we have is suck.
Muzzmatch?
Yeah. They're just ripping off other apps like Minder, from Tinder to Minder. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, like, it's not even like you've done anything spectacularly great. I mean, I'm sure there are some out there, right?
Yeah,
but
the
generally speaking,
I think they got sued, right?
Yeah, they did.
They got sued.
They changed their name.
Yeah, I think it's Salam or something.
Match sued Muzmatch, and then
I don't know.
Whatever it is, I'm glad they got sued
Tinder
because it's a
sued
crappy
Minder.
thing anyways.
But
But
those things are just like the American counterparts to that. I know Muslim people. Who
bro,
are
they
out
had
there,
things I
they're just hooking
heard.
up.
I heard
Oh,
that
yeah.
things on there were like, do you casually drink? What's your halal? How would you, like, even as a Muslim? Let's say you even did that, right?
Dude,
Let's say last time a halal was a Muslim that drank, right?
I'll tell you, I got an answer for
Right?
you.
I'm saying, why would you even like allow yourself to publicly acknowledge that?
You know how you know? Because now the people who are the freaks in this that use it to hook up, just like they did Tinder, they know who's gonna have a one night stand and who's not.
Yeah, that's true too.
Anyways, so what I'm saying is the whole.
I didn't know if
point-
they apped it intentionally.
No.
That's how people use it.
What I'm saying again is like that. That's why I'm saying it comes back to being purposeful, intentful. Everything has to be controlled, right? Because we don't have the time to waste. And if we waste our time with a lot of different things, not just the phone, moving on to just even broader things, you're gonna lose the battle.
Yeah, in everything.
Yeah, I mean, any like, just look at any. Like, I try to relate to corporate world a lot because these things are profitable. They're driven. They make money. They function. They're like little countries, right? But everything has goals. It has smart goals. It has intent. It has purpose. It has financial, fiscal responsibility. That's how as an ummah we should be thinking. Yeah, we may not have a khalif, but at an individual level, if you can hold yourself accountable like that, and make sure that you're being purposeful, you're spending, you're accountable for what you're doing, you're it's all intended. They have smart goals, all these kind of things you put together, things you do at work, you do in your own life.
Oh,
You mean be a good Muslim?
Yeah, I mean essentially, yeah. I'm saying,
You're basically describing. You know,
yeah, but what I mean is but practically, right? Like
Yeah.
the practical
that's what it is.
implementation of being a
Right.
Muslim, right?
Yeah.
That you're actually doing these things.
That's the hardest thing, man.
It is the hardest thing, but that's
let's
where
be
we
honest
lack.
with it. Let's be honest.
we're not
difficult.
trying to tell you guys we're better than anyone.
One-
No, I suffer from this, yeah.
We're trying our best to live our lives. I know, like just recently we did the show with Harry. He came. I gave him a tour of everything that I do, my whole workspace and then my entire system, how I operate. His mind was blown. He was like, "Whoa, you're like insane, like octopus hands." Just all my books laid out, how I arrange my things. That you have to figure out a plan for yourself. Where do you want to be? My biggest fear is when I'm 70 years old, I don't want to be thinking that I left something out there that I wish I picked up. And that's my biggest fear. I'm like, I want to make sure that every single moment was spent in something that was.
You want to have regret
that
for
brought
doing
benefit.
stuff, not for not doing
No,
stuff.
that same game that Moore played, I played that too, but like between meetings and stuff, right? Like here and there, like, you know, spending some time with the kids and, you know, the baby, you're watching Miss Rachel or whatever, you know, and you just want to kill some time, you know? How much are you going to listen to that lady? Yeah. By the way, she's pro-Palestine too. She
really?
put up...
Miss Rachel?
Yeah, Miss Rachel's
Wow.
pro-Palestine, yeah.
I have no idea who this is, but okay.
It's research for little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
awesome.
She sounds like she's for big kids.
Definitely not. No, but no, look, dude, these conversations are really important to have because, look, it's we have to be able to discuss these things and just be real with each other, and hopefully that, you know, with us even voicing, you know, sometimes when you voice things, it benefits you too, bro, and it obviously, inshallah, benefits other people. But the reality of, and I just want to seal that. I mean, we can move on to another topic. Is what Shaq is actually saying is 100% true as far as the device is. Even really, really good people can get caught up in this device, which is meant to. And scientific studies have proven how much it spikes your dopamine levels and how much interest you have in this more than your mundane life. Right? Do you remember when it was bad for your attention and all that because of all these colors and these pings and this, and real life is not
fake
like
crap,
it.
yeah.
Your real life. And now imagine you never have to be bored if you have this. You can, as long as you got a full battery or you got some battery charge, you never have to be bored. But being bored is very, very important for the human being, bro.
Yeah.
You have to be able to think.
That's how you discover, imagine,
Exactly.
invent the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
man.
But anyways,
Do you guys have anything else on the table?
I don't know if you want to talk about Biden's $1 billion, $1.5 billion
Scumbag Biden?
Yeah,
Nice.
scumbag Biden. He
Genocide
everybody
Joe.
knew. Yeah, he was gonna lie, and
He sent $1 billion in aid to Israel after saying that he's withholding
Yep.
things, because this kind of just shows to you the level of compromise that American elected officials are. They literally are working for another state.
Yeah.
They're threatening to withhold the congressional budget spending that's intended for Americans if Biden doesn't release the ammunitions that he held up for Israel.
This is something else.
They're working against the American people on behalf of an external state actor.
Yep.
That's how mind-blowing that is.
The Americans are asleep because they're too busy on their, TikToks and social media.
And just being pacified. But, I mean, again, the college students know what's up.
Yeah.
And they try to make it like they're siding with Hamas. No, they're just saying we don't want to be involved in this anymore, bro. We need money as a country. We need money for our citizens. We need... and that whole immigration thing is a whole different story.
There's so much we can
but yeah, and the other thing is that it's easy for them to announce it, and everybody understands it, and they're still going to go through with it. It's like no matter what you say and what you do, you're not going to change their policy when it comes to Israel, right? At least for now. But it tells you that they have certain principles or whatever, but Israel gets the exception to the rule on all levels.
Yep.
International crime levels, international and war. I mean, you think America is going to try them for war crimes?
No way.
America's going to veto that too, like they veto everything else for their settlements and stuff. But
did you guys see this?
I wanted to.
It's an Israeli soldier who pooped his pants.
Ew. What the? Yeah, I was like, what am I looking at? Oh, they're recording it.
يا معلم بعد ما بلشتش الحرب وخريت بقى وعيت. بعد ما بلشت الحرب وخريت بقى وعيت. واقفين حد فزعت. شو؟
I need some milk. Overdosing.
Did you guys see this one?
Where lies? Oh snap!
The production quality.
Palestinian resistance.
Good stuff.
Shaz had asked us to share something. Can I share that?
Yeah, go ahead.
University. He said Northwestern University faculty member and Skokie District 68 school board member Noelle Sullivan is being targeted by Zionists for her support for the Northern University encampment. On Thursday, May 16th at 7 p.m., they're showing up at the Skokie School Board meeting to demand that she resign from the board. In times of heightened censorship and repression, it's important to keep each other safe. School board meeting Thursday, May 16th, 2024, 7 p.m., 9440 Kenton Avenue, Skokie. Is that close to you?
This
used to be. Yeah. You can highlight this. Yeah. So just to keep it out there that, we want people to be aware of other things that are happening too in your local community if you're from Skokie. Just keep the fire alive of what's happening and just be aware. And there's a lot of non-Muslims that are working on behalf of the Palestinians, and they deserve some respect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hats off to them and salute to them for being good. It's so hard to find good human beings. And when situations like this arise, when you see a narrative that's been pushed, and from a young age who is right and who's wrong, because it's definitive, it's objective, and you see a few people, come out and talk about it, and even though they're not from your deen, there's a different level of love for them. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing to see. So Allah give them hidayah for all those people that are working for Palestine, and there's many people that are entering the folds in big numbers, and that's from Allah, man. Allah's replacing people that are lost in Palestine with new people that are coming up.
All right. I think that's our show for this evening. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you comment in the comment section below. Like if you haven't done so already. And if you would like to be so generous and support us on patreon.com/the Mamluks. Otherwise, we'll see you all next time. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, Shaq.
Oh, man. My pleasure.
I want their leader brought here. I want him brought to me. I want the revolution crushed.